What's up everyone? In today's video we're going to look at Cleanspark's mining update. It just dropped today. We're also going to look at some information regarding the crypto summit coming up, who's likely to attend it, and we're also going to look at some worrying economic data that just released. Now starting off with Cleanspark's mining update, February was a shorter month, so keep that in mind, but they did mine 624 Bitcoin in February. They increased their treasury of Bitcoin by about 6% month over month to 11,177. And as said by Zach Bradford, the CEO, February demonstrated the value of our pure play Bitcoin mining strategy. We focus exclusively on Bitcoin and continuously improve on our leading operational excellence as we continue to add to our treasury. And despite February being a shorter month, we made strides across all of our facilities and continued to add additional power to our contracted portfolio. The last remaining machines have been removed from CoinMint, making our portfolio 100% owned and operated. With nearly 1 gigawatt of power under contract, we have sufficient capacity immediately available for energization to support the remaining path to 50 exahash per second. Average fleet efficiency once again improved month over month. That's fantastic. End of month peak efficiency changed slightly compared to January, led by increased runtimes due to reduced weather-related curtailment of the S19 XPs, which continue generating high margin output. And here's an update on their exahash target, which to me, from what I remember, was pushed back. But we'll look in a second to verify. As we look ahead, we're on schedule to reach 50 exahash by June 30 of 2025, continue to invest in the power pipeline required to support 60 exahash and beyond. Look at their month-end operating hash rate, 40.7 exahash per second, getting towards 1,000 megawatts under contract, average fleet efficiency 17.07 joules per terahash. There are Bitcoin miners that are still in the 20s, even the high 20s. Cleanspark and Iron are taking the cake in terms of Bitcoin mining efficiency, and they even reached a fleet efficiency of 16.82 at the peak, reached a single day high of 23.53 Bitcoin mined, an average of 22.3 Bitcoin mined, and they sold 2.73 Bitcoin, continuing to hodl their Bitcoin. I like it. Now we do have some updates in terms of their different sites. In Georgia, they have several expansions to existing facilities and regions that are in progress. These projects will add additional immersion deployments to the state and deliver the same best-in portfolio performance to their most mature market. These expansion projects will contribute to achieving their mid-year guidance. Cheyenne, Wyoming, power contracts have been expanded by 35 megawatts to a total of 110 megawatts. With further expansion expected in 2025. Hash rate performance at our immersion deployments in Cheyenne leads the entire portfolio as the next two phases of the regional project continue through construction and commissioning, which we expect to bring online in the coming weeks. As for Jackson, Tennessee, construction on 48 megawatts of air-cooled infrastructure continues in order to power 3.1 exahash as part of the path to 50 exahash. We expect to see hash rate come online early next quarter. So here's their last mining update real quick. So they mined literally 2 Bitcoin less in February than they did in January. They mined 626, whereas in February they mined 624. Their average fleet efficiency was 17.37 joules per terahash. So we did see that come down. Efficiency is continuing down, which is fantastic. Efficiency is one of the most important aspects of being a Bitcoin miner. All right, so it looks like I may have been wrong. I might have expected the 50 exahash a little sooner. But even in the last update, they do mention that 50 exahash is a mid-year goal. So fair enough. Iron and Cleanspark are both continuing to grow massively. And I wanted to go over to Iron just to show you guys their efficiency, because in this industry, efficiency is key. But as a side note, Iron also expects 50 exahash in 5 months. Right around the same timeline, we should see both of these wonderful companies getting to 50 exahash per second, continuing to grow and outpace others in terms of growth. All right, here's Iron's joules per terahash as per their earnings, which was not that long ago. February 12th, this was posted, all right? According to their last earnings, Iron is at a 15 joules per terahash fleet efficiency. That's fantastic. Here's an example of why efficiency is so important and so key. Here's a competitor, Mara. 53 exahash is their current hash rate. They were only able to produce 706 Bitcoin with 53 exahash. While a company like Cleanspark with a considerably smaller hash rate by comparison, a 40 exahash, this is month end, their average was 39, they mined 624 Bitcoin in February, compared to 706. Now I can't find Mara's joules per terahash, but I'd assume just based on this is probably in the 20s. Here's another comparison. I hold some Riot, but let's face it, Riot is not the most efficient Bitcoin miner. They're still in the 20s. Many Bitcoin miners are still in the 20s, some are even as close as 30. Lower joules per terahash is good for efficiency. Cleanspark and Iron are among the most efficient Bitcoin miners, if not the most efficient. All right, let's get to this before I keep getting distracted with Bitcoin mining numbers. Trump's White House Crypto Summit confirmed attendees so far. Here are the confirmed names of people attending. These are unconfirmed names. These are the confirmed names of the White House, and these are the unconfirmed names of the White House. Michael Saylor will be there. The CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, David Bailey. The co-founder of Paradigm, the CEO of Exodus, managing partner at Multicoin Capital. Co-founder of Trump-linked World Liberty Financial. Co-founder of Chainlink, CEO of Coinbase, CEO of Robinhood, CEO of Kraken, CEO of Crypto.com, CEO of Ripple. Interesting. We also have the SEC chairman, and we have the Commodities CFTC chairman, AI and Crypto Czar, and the executive director of the Presidential Council of Advisors for Digital Assets. Here's something interesting. We have some words from Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary. I said that very Southern, I feel like. The Commerce Secretary. But anyways, he said that Trump will unveil a Bitcoin reserve strategy at the White House summit. I would hope so. I hope this is the whole point of this summit. If not, I would be very disappointed. The president definitely thinks that there's a Bitcoin strategic reserve, Lutnick said, according to a March 5 report. Now, there will be the question of how do we handle the other cryptocurrencies, and I think the model is going to be announced on Friday when we do that. Now, what's Bitcoin been doing? It's having a decent day today, along with most of the Bitcoin miners. You can see that after that spike, then we pulled back. It looks like we were trying to form a double bottom. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said a few days ago, to see us test this roughly 94,000 resistance. Bitcoin needs to break this descending resistance, though. Let me show you the Mt. Gox fear and how it happened, how we broke out. Bitcoin for multiple months, was continuing to sell off in a very steady pace. Pretty choppy, but, you know, continuing to see lower highs and lower lows. So many people saying, Wall Street ruined crypto, the cycles are broken, the top's already in. So much fear and panic, a lot like we have recently seen. It's very familiar to me if you ask me, and I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. This is just another Mt. Gox situation of max fear. What happened when we finally broke this descending resistance? We went on to rally. We broke out, tested it, bounced, and continued higher. From the point of breakout to our current cycle top was about a 64% gain. Do I expect the same here? Not necessarily. And let me show you on some shorter term time frames what has been going on. We've been seeing a few bullish RSI divergences here and there. We did have a bullish RSI divergence that I showed you guys yesterday. When we hit this low, the price was going down, the RSI was rising. That did mark a bottom and we reversed. We saw it again on the hourly. We saw the price continuing down. Let me make this a little easier to see. Price continuing down, right? While the RSI picks up. So keep an eye on the RSI divergences, whether bearish or bullish. As we continue higher, keep an eye on the RSI divergences, such as on the hourly. In this pullback from peak, Bitcoin went as low as 28% down as a correction, which we have seen with Mt. Gox very similarly. Mt. Gox was about a 33% drop, very similar in terms of a drop. Timeline-wise, this was much longer. This was an extended period of time. And in my opinion, this was much rougher than what we've experienced, unless we continue down, unless this continues to drag itself out for multiple months. Bitcoin is lagging behind global M2 expansion. Bitcoin follows global M2 or money supply 85%. Now, I do want to show you guys some economic data, and we do have some more data coming in terms of jobs this week, and we do have PPI and CPI coming out next week. Hiring slowed in February as economic uncertainty created hesitancy to add jobs last month. On Wednesday, ADP data showed the private sector added 77,000 jobs in February, much fewer than the estimates of 140,000 and significantly lower than 186,000 added in January. January's number was revised up. Perhaps we see similar here where February's numbers are revised up, but it's not going to be revised up to be double. This is a big miss. February's data marked the largest month-over-month decline in private payroll additions since March of 2023. Policy uncertainty and a slowdown in consumer spending might have led to layoffs or a slowdown in hiring. Our data combined with other recent indicators suggest a hiring hesitancy among employers as they assess the economic climate ahead. And look at this change. And here's a chart that kind of gives you an idea. If we continue to see this just go down, 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 the chance of rate cuts actually does increase. We would much rather see the Fed lower rates because of inflation coming down, not because of a poor economy. That soft landing narrative is getting shaky. And we won't go over it right now. I talked about it in a previous video that the Atlanta Fed expected a negative GDP. That is another bad sign. But it'll be important to watch upcoming job data. It'll be important to see PPI and CPI. You know, if inflation does come down, I do think the Fed will be quick to lower rates, even faster because of what's happening in the labor market. Now, how are you guys feeling about the economy? How are you guys feeling about this potential crypto summit? Do you like what Trump is trying to do with crypto? Or would you rather have the past administration? Keeping our tribal feelings of Trump aside, whether we love him or hate him, I do think he is making some positive moves in terms of crypto. Much more so than the last administration that was not really fighting for crypto. But what say you? Do you disagree? And how are you feeling about Cleanspark's mining update? These Bitcoin miners continue to hodl their Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin breaks out of its descending resistance, once Bitcoin breaks new all-time highs, these Bitcoin miners that hold massive amounts of Bitcoin are going to benefit massively. And the Bitcoin miners that are becoming more and more efficient, well, that's going to contribute to their bottom line. We still have a month left to this quarter. We'll see how Bitcoin ends in March. In my opinion, this will be another profitable quarter for the Bitcoin miners that are the most efficient. But thanks as always for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.